All right. Well, anyways, welcome everyone. I just want to quickly introduce myself. I am Coach Karen, one of the student success coaches from Learn to Draw Manga, and it's great to have you all. And tonight we, like we mentioned earlier, we're gonna be having a very insightful conversation with one of our students, Courtney. But before we get to that, I do want to ask everyone in the chat, those who are viewing, a few questions before we begin. Okay, so who here is a frustrated manga artist? So, how about another question? How long have you been struggling? Like, whenever I ask this to other aspiring artists, some would say college or high school. How about you guys? How long has this been a struggle for you? Okay, so how about this next question? Why can't you overcome it by yourself? Like why did it take so long? Maybe we can use this time to like do a bit of self-reflection. Okay. Now, let me know if any of these statements are relatable for you. Okay, so it might be okay, so first, like I feel like I'm not improving fast enough, or I focused on other things and I feel like it's too late to start now. I think this might be relatable for those who have been doing this for years. And then I have a story I want to show, but I'm afraid of trying. I'm afraid I'm not good enough. I don't think I'm good enough. I want to get good. So maybe you can drop an emoji expressing if any of these resonate with you. I think this is why we're here. And this is why we've invited one of our students to join us today to share her experience about how she overcame all these. So tonight we will share with you the journey of Courtney. She's a corrections officer and also one of our students who has the potential to be a manga artist, a promising manga artist. And like you, she's been where you are when it comes to the struggles every aspiring artist faces. So tonight we'll learn about how Courtney's art skills improved through feedback, how she balanced work and her creative pursuits, and how she learned the most important lesson that any beginner artist needs to hear. So, sit back, relax, enjoy, and of course, please stay until the end of the Q&A and find out how you can work with pro Japanese manga and anime artists, just like how Courtney and other students have experienced this as well. So, without further ado, let's all welcome Courtney. Hi, Courtney. Thank you for joining us tonight. How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, like earlier today we like Courtney and I were like having a short chat about like, making sure um we're all full. Also, for those who are watching, feel free to have your snackies, your snacks and your water while the live is happening. And, of course, for you as well, Courtney. This is just going to be a very chill conversation tonight. Kind of like a bar room conversation, if you will. Yeah. Okay. So, let's take a walk down memory lane. So, let's discuss how it all began for you, Courtney. Could you tell us a bit about your background and how you got started with drawing manga?
Sure. How I got started with drawing. Basically, art's been a part of my life for as long as I can remember, and I've always had even as a child, I always had an overactive imagination, and I
Mm-mm.
still you have one. So I just naturally gravitated towards drawing because it just gave me a way to convey the stuff that was going on in my head. And
Mm-mm.
so, manga. that came a little later. I'd say like in my preteen, teen years when I really started to read manga. And I started drawing characters from my favorite manga and anime. And
Mm-mm.
that's pretty much where it started. And it just snowballed from there.
Mm-mm. How old were you when how old were you when you started like drawing, like what you can remember?
Uh, I'd say about kindergarten. So back then there
Kindergarten.
were probably more so scribbles than actual drawings. But
Yeah.
I would just go around and basically, if I saw something interesting or saw something on TV that I like, I'd try and print it out and copy it by drawing, starting with the basic shapes and trying to make it look exactly like the picture.
I see. Like in one of our earlier conversations, you told us that you like drawing Kid Goku, like the kid version of Goku. So much so that your aunt like posted one of your Kid Goku drawings on their fridge, if I remember correctly. So could you tell us more about that experience? How did it feel for you? Um, yeah, when your aunt posted your artwork on the wall with Kid Goku.
Oh, it felt pretty good. Plus, on top of that, she saw it and she liked it, and she offered me like $1.50 for it. And I was like, at that time, that was a lot of money for me. It's like, sure. So she gave me the money and took the picture, and she still actually has that picture. And
Oh,
it
yeah.
felt that was one of the first points when I realized that like, you can actually make money off of drawing or make a career
Mhm.
out of it if you want to.
Mm. It's like your big aha moment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so cool. That's so cool. So, um since you drew like Goku, I would assume you're a big Toriyama fan. So,
Oh, yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
the
Because
legend,
basically I grew up. My first interactions with like anime was like a lot of Americans was watching Toonami, and that
Mm-mm.
was one of the big hits on there at the time. Gundam, I mean, Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Gundam, all those shows. And so
Mm-mm.
those were my first experiences. But Dragon Ball Z was the one that stuck out the most for me, mainly because of the action and the characters and all
Mm-mm.
the cool moves. And that's part of the reason why I got into martial arts at a young age.
I see, I see. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, other than like Kid Go, like I mean Dragon Ball and like um some of Toriyama's works, if we're gonna count his other works, do you have like any other um artists or sources of inspiration, like where you draw inspiration from?
Oh, absolutely. So, like I said, I started off with Toonami. That was my main inspiration. Where I
Mm-hmm.
drew my main inspiration, anime and manga wise. But as
Mm-hmm.
when I got older, say like into my teen years, I started venturing more into say like the seinen genre of manga. Because at my
Mm-hmm.
school we had a library and we actually had an anime club. I wasn't a part of it, but I was friends with some people in it, and we talk about anime and stuff from time to time. And the library actually had several manga series. It had Death Note. It had a little bit of One Piece, but the manga that I ended up picking up was Hellsing, which looking back now, I'm
Oh.
kind of wondering why they had that manga in a high school to begin with. And so, like, just from the first volume, I was very intrigued. I really liked it. I love the way
Mm-hmm.
that the characters were drawn by Koto
Mm-hmm.
Hirona Sensei, and
Mm-hmm.
it was super violent. But it was about vampires and Nazis and
Oh boy.
werewolves, a whole bunch of over the top stuff. But it would look so cool when it was drawn so well.
Uh-huh.
And so I read that series in high school, and also around that time, anime wise, I would say around that time I got introduced to Masamune Shiro's works, especially like Ghost in the Shell, because like I saw the original animated movie first, and I loved it. To this day, it's like my top favorite movie. And also,
Mm-hmm.
Adult Swim started airing a standalone complex, the series, and so I was
Mm-mm.
following that too, and I loved how intricate the sci-fi setting was and the politics were in it.
Mm-mm.
And on top of that, I know I'm listing off. Sorry, I'm trying to get my thoughts together.
Oh, it's
Also,
okay.
Akira by Katsuhiro Otomo. To be
Mm.
fair, up until recently, I had only seen the movie, and I had just purchased the complete manga set
Mm-mm.
last year, and I think I'm on the third ultimate volume of that. I think 4 volumes came in the box set, and it's super huge, but like I can understand why they condensed all some parts down into a movie. But there's a lot more
Mm.
interesting stuff going on in the manga, and I also love his attention to detail in his drawings and architecture because both
Mm.
Akira and Ghost in the Shell, they're both sci-fi, but they
Mm.
approach it in very different manners. And
Yeah.
my second favorite movie is actually Mamoru Oshii's Jinro. I saw that one too, and I just love the armor in it, and it actually influenced the armor that I designed for my the characters in my manga.
I was gonna say I'm seeing the influences of these like when you mentioned Helsing, Akira, Ghost in the Shell. Like okay, this it makes sense why Courtney's style is the way it is. Yeah,
And
yeah.
on a side note, I'm a huge Gundam fan, especially of the UC timeline, because
Mm.
I do like Iron Blooded Orphans too. But the thing with the creator of Gundam, Yoshiyuki Tomino, I love his tendency for dark storytelling. From what I understand, they call him Kill 'Em All Tomino because he'll just kill off characters you wouldn't expect him to, but you built up
Mm.
such a fondness of them. That's like, oh man,
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah. Jeez, like those are really cool. Like I will admit I'm not familiar with some of those. Yeah, but I can see why you like you see timeline for Gundam. That's
yes,
awesome.
man.
Yeah. Does
But
that
I have.
mean
Oh, sorry.
no? I was gonna ask. Does that mean we're gonna see something of the same sort in your work?
The I think so because
Mm.
he tends to put like, well, how do I say it? On one hand, and this kind of the part where the contradiction comes in. On one hand, I notice with the Gundam series he directs, there is a heavy anti-war message, but
Mm.
and I do agree with that to an extent, but at the same time, I'm kind of like a person who loves action and who
Mm.
loves dark settings. And
Mm.
so, with that being said, I'm probably going to be the type to torture my characters in a
Oh.
sense.
Oh. I'm say like I guess for anyone who's watching and might come to read Courtney's future work, let's all brace ourselves for the eventual heartache.
Yes.
Okay, so right. So I kind of want to like emphasize on you mentioning that you had like Van Helsing in your library school library. I think that's a defining moment for a lot of I guess elder millennials. Like we grew up having access to things we shouldn't.
Yes.
Yeah. So you said I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. You mentioned you started around kindergarten, so you were probably like maybe 6, 7 around that time. Now that you're in your 30s, how have you developed your art and manga since then?
Just in general.
Just in general. Mm.
Um, well, before coming to the program, honestly, for the most part of my life, I was self-taught. So,
Mm-mm.
like, as I said before, when I was real small, I just draw whatever interested me that I could like copy down on paper and just draw the individual shapes. And
Mm-mm.
then, like, as I was growing up, I would get a hold of different how-to books, especially like there was a series called How to Draw Manga and
Mm-hmm.
it had different subjects like how to draw ghosts and the occult, or how to draw mecha, basic female
Mm-hmm.
anatomy, male anatomy. I would just get my hands on whatever books I could by either buying them with my allowance, or my parents, they would actually give them to me for like birthdays or like the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And so I mainly started mainly in just the how to draw manga books. And but as I got older, I started expanding more and just started going for like books outside of manga. So like I even
Mm-hmm.
have Stanley's how to draw comic books,
Wow.
books that pertain to like human anatomy, and or books that just explain visual storytelling. And when YouTube became a large thing, then that became a vehicle for me as well, because then there
Mm-hmm.
were artists starting their own channels, and they would
Mm-hmm.
explain like what their process was, or how to make shortcuts for this part of the anatomy, or what
Mm-hmm.
their drawing process was in general. So just
Mm-hmm.
basically any and everything that I could get my hands on. But
Mm-hmm.
for a time, on a side, I was also in college for a bit. I went to a university and I majored in graphic communications.
Mm-hmm.
So for those 2 or 3 years, I was getting some sort of academic training in drawing. But basically, I was just doing like fundamentals before I had dropped out.
Mm. Okay, that's interesting. Like, why did you like? What do you mean by dropped out? Like you went out of the program during that time?
No, ma'am, I had dropped out of the university. I
Mm,
decided
I
I didn't want to. Felt at the time I felt like there was more I could be doing with my
mm-mm.
life. There was a whole lot behind it, but basically, I had agreed to go to college with my mom. That if I went to college afterwards, I could graduate and go into the Marines. But then I found out I couldn't get into the Marines due to medical reasons. So that kind of
Mm-mm.
plummeted my motivation to stay. And I was like, well, I could be doing more with my life than just sitting around here building up student loans. So I just
Mm-mm.
dropped out and went another way.
I see, I see. Okay, I'd like to revisit that part of your life a bit in a bit. But
Okay.
I do want to get into like you mentioning that you had firstly it's really great to hear that your parents supported your passion for manga, like when they bought you all the books and stuff. And with all these resources, the YouTube videos, the books, the books outside of like drawing manga, um was there something missing from those resources that made you join our program?
I'd say the biggest pull in that your program offered was the opportunity to like have my work critiqued by professionals in the manga industry, as well
Mm-hmm.
as others who are very good with visual art. Because
Mm,
with that, gave me the chance to actually find out, okay, what am I doing wrong? How can I make this better, so to speak,
mm,
from an actual professional, instead of having to like go with my intuition, or just get critiques from friends who aren't as experienced in it.
mm. Yeah, I see, I see. Well, compared to when you were doing this all by yourself, how has your experience been since like you joined and had access to like the feedback from pros, the feedback from fellow artists who like you want to learn manga? Like how is it has it been like since then for you?
I think it's so far. I think it's been a very positive experience.
Mm,
Not just with the mentors, but say with the fellow students and the community we fostered among ourselves. Though I'm not as active in the group chat as I'd probably like to be. I like the sense of camaraderie, and
mm,
I it how do I explain it? It's like a small family that I'm
mm,
that we're sharing our dreams and stuff with, and I
mm.
like how that feels.
Well, that's really great here. It just hits different when you're with people who are going the same direction as you are, you know. Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to show you, like, you can see like on screen, like this is actually the first artwork that you've ever submitted to class. And let's take a look at how has your art has transformed since December last year. Oh, geez, that's a long time ago for me. So yeah, let's have a look at your old work, and maybe you could tell me a bit more about like your process, how you felt about these and all the works. Yeah. Okay. So, okay. This is like one of your earlier works from January this year. It's the I think this is what you did for foreshortening, the foreshortening assignment or
Yes,
homework.
ma'am.
Yeah. Mm-mm. Okay. So, like how like is there like can you tell me like what changes have you observed like comparing this from your old work from 2023?
Let's see. For the updated one from January, I know after finishing it, I noticed my proportions were better suited for what I was drawing. And
Mm-mm.
because like in the previous one, I just randomly sketched it in my sketchbook, but I noticed that torso and head are a little bit small for the proportions of the arm and the hand. And in the
Mm-mm.
updated version, it's I'd say it's much better proportion as for foreshortening.
Mm-mm. I also noticed that the new one is like the older one it still looks great. But compared to like your newer version it's more stiff. Like I don't know. Like that's how it appears.
No, ma'am, I
Yeah.
understand what you mean.
Yeah, but you
I
did
think
really a
when I actually drew the original one, I was still hashing out the characters in my head because like I had a a kind of not detailed but a general sense of what I wanted them to look like and what I wanted their powers to be. And that I
mm,
think the first one was just me trying to mesh out that idea. And whereas with the latest one, I'm more confident in what their powers and abilities to be, and
mm,
I'm just playing more with like the foreshortening and perspective.
awesome, awesome. Yeah, okay, let's have a look at the next one. Yeah. Okay, so here is a comparison of how you started like your December submission from last year. This is like your first homework from our character drawing course. And then this one from April is when you were working on the visuals for your one shot manga. I remember you saying that one of your struggles back then was like drawing more expressive emotions, like like more convincing emotions. Would you say like are you feeling more confident, or do you feel like um do you feel good about what do you call this, your progress now compared to back then?
Yes, ma'am. I'm definitely feeling more confident. I think I have a better sense of what I need to pay attention to when I want to draw out certain emotions, like what direction to draw the eyebrows in,
Mhm.
what certain creases to add or not add to the face to convey the stress in the face, or especially the eyes with what I want the eyes to do. Because you can express a lot. You express a lot through the eyes. The eyes are the windows to the soul, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. I noticed that your latest work is a lot more stylized than when you started actually. Like it's it's so subtle but it's noticeable, you
Yeah,
know.
I've noticed that too. And really it has to be subconscious because I'm not really
Mm,
doing it on purpose. I think since I've been drawing the characters for this one shot over the course of the year and constantly drawing them, certain I think I have certain physical cues that I follow when I'm drawing them, physical or visual cues that I'll follow when I'm
mm,
drawing them to like keep in mind when I'm getting their proportions right or trying to get them right.
Hmm. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, well, I don't know. Let us all take this moment to like fangirl and fanboy over this progress, because like I personally find this as one of my favorites from what you submitted in our program thus far. Yeah. Okay, so like here's another one. Like again, more variation in the way that you show emotion. It's not just the face. This is Al, right? You like look at that.
Hmm.
Al's personality shines more with like your latest work from April. Yeah. And then here's another one actually. I remember that backgrounds are also one of your struggles or pain points when you draw. So what are your takeaways from this progress like between April and May this year?
I feel well, I wouldn't say I'm an expert at it. I feel better attuned to getting perspective down, specifically
Mm-hmm.
like second and third. I would definitely like to get better at my sense of third perspective, but I have gotten better at making the more proper angles, using foreshortening more accurately, and getting
Mm-hmm.
the proportions of different parts down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We noticed that you improved on like texture and volume as well, especially with metal. Like we can like see that the like the elements in the background for your May submission, like um it's definitely more defined, so to speak. Yeah. Okay, well here's another one. Like I think this is the your most defining progress. Like this is like your one page manga that you sent back in January. And then here's your latest inked page from your one shot manga that you're still working on. So how do you feel about this progress?
I think I've definitely improved. For starters, I know instead of left to right, I have to do right to left, which I had forgotten
Mm-hmm.
in my original submission. Hence why some people may have issues following the progression of the panels.
Mm-hmm.
And but in my latest one, I definitely feel it's an improvement over the one page manga. It's basically an amalgam of all that I've learned in the course so far, especially when it comes to the flow of panels, the inking, and the toning. When it comes to digital toning, because I would say digital toning would with the software that I use, I was having difficulties properly understanding it at first, and with the help of the manga program, think I've gotten a better hang of it.
Mm-hmm. Got it, got it. But this is impressive. Like like you guys feel free to like let us know your thoughts about Courtney's progress, because really like we have like someone here say along with seeing your work looked at directly, those advice you can see in real time sticks with you subliminally every time you draw. This is from Stray Wall. Garrett says the perspective and the sense of scale is so good. How the statues tower over her characters. Like, yeah, this is for like the background, like earlier. This one, right? Yeah, pretty cool.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Vault Akaba says the shading also looks way better. Like for this one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think in the original one I was still using a grayscaling, so use of grays instead of black and whites. But I think
Mm-hmm.
it was I think either Rina Sensei or Yazawa Sensei who explained that like when mangas are published, they have to use they use like black and white tones due to
Mm-hmm.
mainly financial restraints, depending on the manga on the publishing company who's publishing it. And so that was something I wasn't really aware of before
Mm-hmm.
joining the program. So I took that and tried to take that into account when doing my screen tones for my one shot.
Yeah, it certainly looks more editorial. It looks more publish ready, so to speak. Yeah. Okay. Well, um I'm glad that we had this opportunity to look over some of your drawings from the program, showing your progress, showing how like you improved. Now, let's go into detail about your experience in the program. You mentioned earlier that um, you've like one of the perks of like being in this program is you getting the what do you call this, the feedback from professional manga mentors, as well as have being in a community of artists, of like-minded artists who also want to tell stories through manga. um, and what sort of like opportunities like what has it been like interacting with the community, the mentors, like how was your experience interacting with the community overall been so far?
Oh, it's been pretty positive so far. Everyone seems pretty down to earth,
Mm.
and it's nice to know you're not alone in this because everyone has, has a job, has bills, has their own things they're going on through in life, and it's just nice to know that even with all that, we're all striving to make our own mangas, whether we want to get published by Shonen Jump or just release it on webtoons. It's
Mm-hmm.
nice to be unified in a common goal, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Got it. Like, do you have like any highlights or specific uh, experiences or advice from mentors, coaches, classmates that that you feel have impacted your art in a great way?
Yes, I would say my the critiquing sessions with Yazawa Sensei have been pretty eye opening, especially for example when it comes to panels. So like
Mm,
I grew up before coming into manga. I also grew up reading American comic books, and there are similarities between the way manga and Western comics do it. But I one thing Yazawa Sensei pointed out to me is like panel size and how panel size and spacing can affect like the progression of time in a manga, as well as how the eye flows. So say
mm,
like if a large amount of time is passing in between a scene, the panels may be spaced out more so than like whereas like when quick action scenes, the
mm,
panels will be probably closer together. And
mm,
also another thing is making your panels flow properly. So like where the reader isn't like struggling to like understand where they should go next or what's about
mm,
to happen next because they can't read the proper direction that you're intending for them. So I've been more mindful of that since our
mm,
critiquing sessions.
Yeah, yeah, and we can see that reflect even in your work comparing January from May. So glad to see that it's really strongly influenced your art in a way. And I think this is a great opportunity for us to look over your progress with your one shot. Um, can you like tell us about this story, Discovery? Like, I believe that is the title. Can you tell us a bit about what the story is?
Yes, ma'am. So a fun fact about I chose the title Discovery on a whim. I actually named it after my the first album I brought. It was Daft Punk's Discovery. So I thought, hey, okay. And fun
Mm,
fact, they had actually made a full on visual album with I think I forgot the animator's name. It was a Japanese animator, and they made a full movie around
mm,
that album. So
mm,
and it takes place in space, and my one shot takes place in space, and so I was like, hey, why not? Okay. So basically, Discovery is about two members of a super soldier program. That's Val and Al, or Alex. and
Mm.
they're basically sent by the Space Federation to investigate the ruins of an extinct alien race. And their
Mm-mm.
mission is to find anything that could possibly assist humanity in winning a galactic war they're in.
Mm-mm. Yeah. Well, an interesting thing about like your story is you decided that you're gonna try to tell this one shot without any dialogue. How is
Yeah.
the yeah? How is the process for that been like for you so far?
It's been I wouldn't say I've had many difficulties with it. I was the reason I had originally chose to make it like a silent manga was because I was gonna put enter it into like the silent manga edition, the
Mm,
edition that they hold for silent mangas annually. But due to the my personal schedule and times constraints, I decided that I should just hold off on that and then maybe apply with another one shot next year. Hence
mm,
why I decided not to do dialogue with them. But
mm,
as far as things go, it's been pretty smooth so far. But since there's no dialogue, I have to be more set on emphasizing the characters' personalities and thoughts through their body language, facial expressions, and actions. Not only
mm,
that, but like setting the atmosphere with the background
mm,
and how what the feelings and mood I wanted
mm,
to bring across. And so I've been constantly asking myself, okay, what is it that I want to convey in this scene? Would this be the best way to draw it, and so on and so forth.
mm. Yeah. Well, I want to get back into like you wanting to enter contests in a bit later on. So I think what I want to address for now is um the challenges that you experience because I guess one of those is trying to tell the story with just using actions, body language, the mood of the place, like the environment, the setting. Um, you I remember you've also been like advised by Yazawa Sensei, your assigned mentor, um to like make certain changes to convey your story better. And here's an example on screen. Like these are like the redraws that you did for the storyboard for, I believe this is page 5. um Other than like from this and anything else, what were like the challenges? um can you tell us more about like the challenges you had when you were trying to like work on these?
Um, let's see. Yes, these pages right here, particularly, are the I would say are the most are uh, one of the most challenging. There is
Mm,
another one that I'm working on right now that is proving challenging, but for this one, I'd say the challenging I was experiencing with originally drafting them out was the pacing,
mm,
because
mm,
I wanted to bring about a sense of uh, suspense, and then
mm,
when they finally see the door, I want it to be like a sense of release washes over them, like, oh, okay, we're possibly close to completing our mission, because they've been
mm,
on edge ever since they've landed in the ruins, and now their objective is in plain sight now. So I wanted to be like, okay, we're almost done, and it's kind of like a load off their shoulders, if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. Like, but to be fair though, like with this, like for example, with this scene alone, on screen, there really is like a noticeable difference in like like I think it shows a better sense of suspense and relief, finding getting to the destination where they are. And like there are more of this here actually. Like um I remember like what aspects as well. have you enjoyed in the process of making the one shot?
I've actually enjoyed the process overall so far. Now, if I did have to choose, I'd say it is a toss up between, say, like the undersketching and the inking. Those tend to
Mm-mm.
be my favorites because with the undersketch, I'm basically going back and refining my storyboards and fleshing out the characters' looks and putting in more detail. And then with the inking, I'm basically making them pop off the paper. So basically,
Mm-mm.
making things look more bold. And depending on the what I want the material to be or what I want it to look like, I'll go about different ways of inking, say like with this background. So like certain parts are metal and certain parts are to be stone. And so while it's a challenge, it's I enjoyed trying to convey it.
Mm-mm. And we enjoyed watching the process as well. Yeah. Okay. So, you mentioned earlier, going back to you one day wanting to like join contests, and I guess it kind of also answered my next question about you wanting to make more. Um, when what do you have like already a set plan for what you want to work on next when you finish Discovery?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, before I had started with this program, I was basically doing a little digital comic of my own. It's basically based off Street Fighter characters. Chun Li, she was the
Mm-hmm.
main character in it, and I had gotten pretty far in it, but I put it on hold to like devote more time to the one shot. So once I'm completed my one shot and I've published, got it posted,
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably go back and finish that one, and then I'll
Mm-hmm.
probably do another Street Fighter fan comic. But also, I definitely want to flesh out the Discovery universe, so to speak, because
So
yes, ma'am.
does that mean you have plans to like serialize somewhere down the line?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. As for where I would serialize it, honestly, I'd be fine with like it being a digital manga, but if I can get it like printed on paper with a publisher, that'd be pretty cool. Cause like
Mm-hmm.
it's we just see these two characters in this one shot, but the gears in my mind have been churning ever since I created them, and there's a whole universe I'd like to build around them and outwards, venturing into different stories and characters.
Yeah, like I actually remember one of your earlier submissions. Other than Alan Val, there were like two or three more.
Yes.
So will we be seeing those characters and maybe in future one shots or
Yes, ma'am,
serial?
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, we're
I think
looking.
you actually showed oh, I forgot. You actually showed one of them earlier. They were in a super armor of their own. But yes, I've fleshed out that character as well, and I would love to do a one shot for her. Yes,
Ooh,
ma'am.
that's her, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing that. Yeah. Well, we can't wait for when you finish Discovery. It's still in the works. How many pages was it again? Like how many pages are you looking to finish for
I think I'm not near my computer. I think I know it's just a little bit over 20. So
mm-hmm.
I have been working on, I've been doing the storyboards for the remaining pages, and I've went and refined a few other pages, and it's not too far from being done. I just want to get the sensei's critiques on it before I move
Mm-hmm.
forward.
Yeah, got it. When you finish Discovery, where like do you plan on posting this online? Where might or submitting this to a contest? Is the like what's gonna be the next step for when you finish this basically for this
Honestly,
specific one shot? Yeah.
I think I'll just post it online.
Mm,
Probably my Pixiv account because they allow members to post mangas. I might post it on my IG as well, but their
mm,
interface is a little bit different from Pixiv.
got it, got it. Well, good luck with finishing your manga. We can't wait because like this is a very great story. We can't wait to see how Val and Al like get through um the mission. Like how are they gonna survive this mission? And I hope everyone, like, when Courtney posts it on Pixiv or any other platforms, I hope that you'll be there to show your support as well. All right. Okay. So I know there are probably a lot of aspiring mangakas out there, including the people watching us right now on Facebook, on YouTube. Um, so there's probably also a lot who are in their like 30s. Like some of our classmates are also like in their 40s, 50s. Are you what do you call this? Well, do you have like any advice for people who want to become like a mangaka on like finding time to work on their passion? Because like you're a corrections officer, like how do you balance this, and do you have any advice for how you can find that time?
I can honestly say, without a doubt, that one of the things that I've had the most challenge with is just finding the time. And it's kind of
Mm,
funny, like from my 20s all the way up to now my 30s, it's always been the deal of when I have the time, I end up running low on the funds. But when I have the funds, I always feel short on the time.
mm,
And there for a while there was a point in my life where I did have a decent work life balance, but I just became a I'll actually be graduating from the correctional officers academy Monday, so I'll
mm,
be working 12-hour days for 5 days a week while I'm still on the job training.
mm,
So I would say, let's see, I just find ways to just for anyone out there who feels like they're struggling on time, you're not alone in that. The best thing I can say is just keep drawing and just properly try to properly manage your time as much as you can. Cause like
mm.
even when I probably shouldn't be doing this, but even when I'm in class, I find myself drawing out my characters in like my notebooks that I'm supposed to. Mind you, I am listening, but I'm just drawing them while listening to the teacher. So even in those small moments, just find times to like draw. You don't have to draw anything major or big. Just it just even if it's just 5 minutes a day, just draw something. Just work on
Mm,
something, like even if it's just simple fundamentals like drawing shapes and turning them into 3D shapes, or
mm,
properly just shading the shapes, or even just working on different parts of the anatomy. If you can, carry a super small sketchbook around with you and just doodle in it with throughout the day. Even if,
mm,
because over time it'll become a habit to a
mm,
point where it doesn't even feel like a chore. It's just a part of your daily routine.
mm.
And for
Okay.
those the older people, say like your 30s and up, I'll be honest, when I was 29 and I hit 30, I didn't really feel any different. I think I had my quarter life crisis back when I was like 25, and so by the time I hit 30, I was well over it. I was like, okay, yeah, it's just another day. So like don't let age be an issue for you. There's plenty of mangaka out there who have started well past like their 20s. If
Mm,
I could be wrong, but if I remember correctly, the dude that's taking over for Toriyama, he was before he did this, he was a TV director, if I remember
mm,
correctly. And like
mm,
one day he showed his work to Toriyama, and that's how he got it. But mind you, he had already had a full career by then. So like it's just something. It's not just set plan. Sometimes it can happen spontaneously, And sometimes things in life, they come a little later than expected. But that doesn't diminish the quality that we can put into them or the potential that we have.
That is true indeed. Yeah. Really great words of advice, Courtney. Yeah, we have people here watching. Jennifer M is like, you're 34 years old, see, so you're around the same age group
Oh yeah.
as
Oh, and
us.
also, I think you said someone in the chat said that they don't have potential, and I just want to say to
Yeah.
them that's absolute nonsense. Don't talk to yourself
Mm,
like that. Their
mm,
potential, by definition, is having or showing the capacity to become or develop into something in the future. So
mm,
basically, if you're still breathing and you have a heartbeat and a cognitive mind, there's still plenty that you can do.
mm, mm,
Because there's plenty of artists, there's plenty of phenomenal artists out there who who like say don't have arms, so they draw with their feet, or who are quadriplegic, so they use their mouths to hold their pencils and stuff. There is no end to the potential of human beings if we put our minds to it. So just keep that in mind and try and change that inner voice and just say, I can do this. Even if it's just once a day, say, I can do this. I know I can do this. And your
mm,
inner voice will hopefully change over time because you do have potential. We all have potential. We
mm,
just
mm.
have to find ways to unlock it.
Yes, that is true indeed. Like, I guess this is the appropriate time to say, where there's a will, there's a way. Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people here can relate to like the time management, and we also really like that you said like, make it like a part of their habit. You would you say that like drawing is like second nature to you now?
Yes, ma'am. I'd say it's definitely second nature to me. Even if there's times where I can't draw every day, I still draw when I can.
Yeah, there we go. Like you just love it being part of like your daily routine, basically.
Mhm.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Okay, um, yeah. You mentioned like I think this is like earlier you mentioned that like you had to like go through college, and when you first like before you joined our community, you told us that there was a point in time in your life that you had to put drawing on pause. um what would you like to tell those who feel like it might be too late to start again, for those who like put drawing on hold for a long time?
Oh, sorry if I sound redundant, but it's not too late to start again. Like, just like when the first time you picked up a pencil, there's nothing stopping you from picking it up again. And I
Mm,
understand because sometimes I'll have that thought in the back of my head, oh my God, I would be so much further towards my goal if I hadn't stopped, or so and so wouldn't happen. And while that may
mm,
be true, that doesn't mean that you can't start now,
mm,
start now again. Because like as the old saying goes, the best time to plant a tree was like 20 years ago. The second
mm.
best time is right now.
Amen to that. Yeah, so you hear that, everyone? It's not too late. You got this. You can start at any time as long as you're alive and kicking. Okay, so I guess we could, um, maybe final words of advice. Maybe something for our beginners. Like, is there anything other than it not being too late to start, believing that you or fighting that voice in your head, that you don't have any potential? Like, is there anything else, reminders or stuff that you want to tell our viewers watching tonight?
Learn fundamentals. Learn the fundamentals of drawing the human body, learn the fundamentals of perspective. But start with just the simple fundamentals of drawing, from the stick figure all the way up. and just
Mm-hmm.
devote your time to that for as
Mm-hmm.
long as you can. Because a lot of and a lot of things I've noticed throughout the years is that even back when I was in college, when
Mm-hmm.
people would get their works critiqued, or they'd have someone look over them. If they'd offer a critique, they say, "Well, that's just my style." And also be open to the critique of others. And notice that they're not trying to hurt you, especially your teachers. They're just trying to make you better because they
Mm-hmm.
see once again the potential in you. But also when it comes to style, yes, style is a thing. But with any and every artist throughout the years, be it let's see, be it Picasso or Leonardo da Vinci or Kim Jong Il. The thing is, yes, they have their own styles, but they learned the rules and fundamentals. And the one thing about if you want to break the rules, you have to first learn what the rules are.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say get a firm grasp of fundamentals. And then as time goes on, you will develop your own personal style that people will be able to see. But put that on the back burner and just try and
Mm-hmm.
get down, okay, what's wrong with this structure? Why does it not look like say like it's supposed to, or like how it does in my reference, and then
Mm-hmm.
just go from there. And
Mm-hmm.
also another thing, don't be afraid to use references. Art
Mm-hmm.
is a visual form. And so, like, countless artists, even professional artists, use references all the time. I was
Mm-hmm.
actually watching a documentary on DC Comics, and one of the artists, Jim Lee, he's actually, I think, editor in chief at DC now. He would, when he was still, say, drawing comics, he would go out and he would take different pictures of the surroundings around him, like, say, like skyscrapers, and he would
Mm-hmm.
use them in his art. And I come to learn that a lot of professional artists do that. So don't be afraid to pull from life. Draw what you see, because art is an imitation of life a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-mm, exactly. Well, what do you say to those who think that it's boring to like I mean that's a rookie mistake, right? Like
Yes, ma'am.
what yeah, so what do you say to those who think, "Ah, but I don't wanna learn fundamentals. I don't wanna use references." Like what do you say to those who think that way?
Well, just think back to like school. Like math is complicated and boring. I've never been good at math, but I had to learn it if like I wanted to make my way through society as well as science. But think of it like as a building block. It's the bottom of the pyramid. But once you get that down, you'll be better able to illustrate and convey what you want. People like Kentaro Miura, he didn't just come out the womb drawing guts with a giant sword. No, he picked those skills up over time, and he
Mm-hmm.
had mentors guide him in the right direction, and he worked on his fundamentals until finally he drew guts, and long story short, was able to illustrate and draw Berserk.
Mm-mm. Okay, so you've heard it from Courtney. You know, the bottom line here is just do it. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Courtney. Like we really definitely learned a lot from your experience, from your background and working with us here in the Learn to Draw manga community with the mentors and your classmates. So for everyone who's watching, please follow Courtney across social media. Her handle is Color of Dreams 07 on Instagram and also on Twitter. It should Color of Dreams. Yeah. On Twitter, X, now known formerly Twitter. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you so much, Courtney. And I guess this is the great a great time as well for us to go over any questions that you have for Courtney. Um, let's see here. We do have a few questions in the chat earlier. Okay. Okay, Nils Parahia. Hello, are you doing drawing review off stream in order to know if they are good enough for a one shot? Um, this is gonna be something that's part of our program if you enroll, which we will be going over in a minute. In a minute. Okay, so Valta Kaba says, I have a question. How do you get an editor and draw for a magazine in the first place? Yeah, I think that is a question that can be best answered by our pro manga artist mentors. Yeah. Um. Okay, so there's a question from Darius Dancer. How long does it take to perfect your drawing? Like, okay, how long did it take for you, Courtney, to perfect your drawing?
Oh, that's a trick question for me because, as far as I'm concerned, they're never perfect. There's
Mm-hmm.
always room for improvement. But
Mm-hmm.
usually, I try and hash out the details when I'm just penciling, and then afterwards, I'll add more details while I'm doing the inking. And I think it's kind of one of those things where I just sort of feel it out. Like I feel if a picture is done, I'll just stop and say, "Okay, I'm done," and just leave it there.
Mm-mm. Yeah. David RT agrees with you. He said artists never stop learning. Yes, that is true. It is
Yeah.
both a blessing and a curse. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. We have more questions from earlier. Okay. All right. Okay, so X Mighty says, I draw for 4 years and write for 8 years. Not a lot, but I consider myself to be a decent writer. However, I need to improve my drawing skills. Yeah, like I think a lot of people feel the artists feel that way, having like stories to tell. But
But
yeah,
also, if he's been writing for 8 years and drawing for four.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, that's pretty cool. Cause like even if your art visually isn't the best, I bet your storytelling is quite superb, especially if you put that many years into it. I think a great example of that is the original author of One Punch Man. If
Mm,
you go and look at the actual web comic for that, you'll notice the art isn't it's not the best in the world, but the story and the setting and the characters are so intriguing that Yusuke Murata decided to get involved, and he basically did redrew the first parts of the series.
mm-mm,
So yeah, even if your art isn't up there, just keep improving at it, and over time, even if it's not up there where you want it to be, others can be inspired by it, and it can take you interesting places.
mm-mm. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. X Mighty says thanks. We have a question from Valt Akaba. Is there a way to transfer traditional art into digital? I think
Oh,
you can talk about like how you learned digital media for
there
drawing.
is a when it comes to transferring traditional to digital, I'll do either one or two things. I'll either just completely redraw it digitally, or if I can, I'll take a picture of it and then convert it and then ink it out on my digital program, if that
Mm,
helps.
yeah. I mean, that's one of the right ways of tracing
Yeah.
when you're tracing your own work. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, okay, another question from John Badmus or Mr. Glasses. How would I copy my favorite mangaka style?
Mm, I think the question I would add, well, I do understand why, especially if you really love someone's style. but also ask yourself why you want to copy it aside from that, and why not make your own style but be influenced by their style, if that makes sense.
Mm-mm. Yeah. Like when we were having our before we like went live, Courtney, you mentioned that actually no, earlier here during our interview with you, you said that you don't really think about the style. You just it's a subconscious thing.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
you just find yourself, you'll eventually find yourself emulating the things that you like, and that includes the st- cartoons and anime that you've seen, manga or comics that you've read. You subconsciously just apply it when you draw, because we like, we copy what we see subconsciously, and we can only do things that we know.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Okay, Garrett says, I missed this earlier actually. So Garrett says, Karen, it's important to remind everyone to be kind to themselves and to stay healthy. That is the best way to keep yourself enjoying the process. Amen to that. Yeah.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so X Mighty says, I use PixArt color to transform traditional into digital, put the original drawing on a lower layer, and trace it in an upper one. Yeah. Like that's really, really great tips, X Mighty. Yeah. Okay, so we gonna have another one from Valt Akaba. How would you edit a story to suit a specific audience of manga? For example, turning Kodomomuke manga into a shonen manga.
Hmm. What was the first genre? I heard the shonen part.
I think Kodomomuke is like for kids. So
Oh,
like, yeah.
I don't
It,
think that transition would be too difficult to do. I mean,
mm,
shonen is basically aimed at younger boys and teenagers, so to speak.
mm,
Uh, I think that one at one point. Well, on one hand, I think that would be more suited for the manga experts to answer, but
mm,
also it when it comes to style or the audience you want to go to, I think there are ways to like appeal to more than one audience. To say it could appeal to a young audience as well as a shonen audience. I think it depends on the characters and the plot, so to speak, as well as the content.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Okay. So I think we can honor one more question. Um. Okay. So here's the last one. Okay. If I could create a medieval fantasy story, should I research an RPG game, documentaries, isekai, etc.? I think would I think you answered your own question, KD Master 64. Yeah, like
Yes,
you know
no,
you. Mhm.
absolutely. Yeah, I was agreeing with you. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Like,
Yeah.
do you have like something you wanna add to that, Courtney?
Yes, the more research you do, the better. I know
Mm-hmm.
with Araki, the author of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, he did a lot of research for certain arcs of that manga because he went around to Italy, he toured Italy and had paid attention to their architecture and their culture. I
Mm-hmm.
think he also went to Africa when they were doing the during one of the arcs where they went to Africa and just but not everyone could do that, but yes, research as much as you can. If it's a medieval fantasy, research those times, understand the armor, the architecture, or even the customs of that time. Or you could just play Dark Souls, which is pretty good too, medieval wise. But
Mm-hmm.
even with my one shot I'm working on right now, I'm also researching science because I want it to be set in a sci-fi setting. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay, if I want it to be set in a sci-fi setting, do I want it to be hard science or soft science where I just make stuff up? But
Mm-hmm.
just do as much research as you can on. the time setting that you're setting your story in.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much for answering everyone's questions, Courtney. So since we're a bit like we still have a few minutes left to talk about how you like Courtney can become or get closer to your dream of creating your first ever manga. So like I mentioned earlier, Courtney is one of the students in our one-shot manga drawing program. And one of our goals is to empower more aspiring manga artists just like you guys. Yeah. So we've been working with our students through our program membership these past few months, and here's what they've said. So I think you'll see on screen what one of our students made huge leaps in progress. This is from Amser. He started joining our program last year October, and now his recent work from May is this. Like there's a huge difference. Yeah. Also, another one, and he's actually watching right now. So this is Garrett's progress in 8 months. This is the first of artwork that he submitted in October, and this is like the latest redraw of that same character in May this year. He says like I feel like if I'm improved a lot since the beginning. I'm also glad to see set up a lot of connections with a lot of students who are on the same journey as I am. Yeah, it's Zoe, Garrett's OC. Yeah. Okay, another is Eduardo. So this is Eduardo's progress in just 2 months. From February to April this year, he said, I reached a new level of detail and characterization, learned more about backgrounds, and how to be more creative about doing things against a deadline. Yeah. So the mentors always give way better feedback to my works than I would, and they genuinely want us to do a good job. And also from one of our longest students in the program. So this is Raven's progress in 5 months. For those who have been subscribed to us for a long time now, I think you guys are familiar with Raven. She joined our basics character drawing course, and now she is also working on her one shot. And she said, I'm feeling like I'm making lots of progress, especially now with the paneling. I feel like I'm better than a lot of my first attempts. Yeah, she's gone way better. Exactly. So, that being said, I do have a question for you. So, you're here because you want to learn how to draw manga, right? Maybe you can drop a thumbs up or a heart in the chat if this is a yes. If it's a no, that's okay. And you want to improve your art and feel more confident, correct? So, um, on that note, would you rather do it yourself and continue to struggle, continue feeling like your progress is slow and going nowhere, or like Courtney and the rest of her classmates, would you rather have a proven path to success? Yeah, yeah. All right. So, you've seen our students' results, including Courtney's. You've read how happy they are with the community and guidance from our mentors. So the question is, do you want in too? So for those who want in, type I want in the chat. All right, yes. Join us. Garrett says, join us. Will you join us? Yes. Dearest Dancer says, I want in. Oh, Jennifer M. KD Master 64. Movo the Gorgon. John Badmus. Mr. Glasses. Peanut Butter Brisket 99. Yeah. Ray says, it's just because you love it. That's one of my main reasons. Real 181 also wants in. X Mighty, I want in, but I will only enter in August when I turn 18. Yes, that is correct. David RT, me. All right. Jason Park says, sure, I guess you guess. Is there a bit of uncertainty here? Yeah. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So if you want in, then If you want to make your time doing art more meaningful and more productive, then our one shot manga drawing program membership is for you. So, we are on a mission to accelerate your growth all while having fun learning together in our community. You will also have amazing professional mangaka mentors to guide you. And our first one being our beloved Nao Yazawa, or also our Yazawa sensei.
Sensei.
Yeah, she's the goat. Yeah. So she is a professional Japanese manga artist with more than 30 years of experience. She is also the illustrator of the iconic manga turned anime known as Wedding Peach. She has also released her own how to draw book, and she also teaches how to draw manga in a vocational school in Nakano, Japan. Yeah, and our second mentor is also another professional Japanese manga artist. Her name is Rena Saya, also known as Rena Sensei. Like she's also really, really amazing. Yeah. She's been in the industry for about 20 years already, and she also teaches at a manga school in Tokyo. And the best part, both Yazawa Sensei and Rena Sensei speak English. You don't see, or you don't find a lot of industry level manga artists, like Japanese manga artists who can speak English. So this is like a special opportunity that we wanna offer you guys. So in our program, you will learn basic drawing foundations, advanced drawing techniques, how to ink and color with Copics, how to design your own character for your manga, and most importantly, how to produce your one shot manga from start to finish. You will also have lifetime access to self paced training videos, our community Facebook group and messenger group chat, and live Zoom sessions 2 to 3 times a week with our student success team. So that includes me, Coach Karen, and also our pro manga mentors, where they will have you will get the chance to have your works looked over and critiqued by our mentors. And if you can't even join the live, don't have to worry, because we will be collecting your questions and artworks for critiquing beforehand. And since you have lifetime access, you'll get the replays as well as the PDF guides for our worksheets, our lesson guides, all the works. And even if you just watch the replay, you'll still see your questions being answered and your artworks critiqued. And also, we're not just taking in anyone. The better the fit, the better the results. So we want to work with 25 aspiring manga artists who want to be empowered. And yeah, I see those in the chat saying that this is for students, potential students of 18 years and above. Yes, exactly. We're only taking in students from 18 years old and above. If you're under 18, we're still gonna be here. We'll wait for you. So when you're 18 and ready, you are more than welcome to join. Yeah, so if you want in, here's how the process works. So firstly, this is for you if you're a beginner who wants to learn how to draw manga and start telling your own stories. You have a passion for manga and dream of getting published or winning contests with your original artwork, and you're seeking confidence and a supportive community to share your art and grow as a manga artist. So, if this sounds like you, then you're invited to apply and become one of the 25 new members of our one shot manga drawing program. Again, we only accept applicants 18 years old and above. So, if you're younger, that's okay. Remember that we're going to be here. We'll wait for you. All we need from you is the drive and the passion. And then, to be ready. Yeah, I'm already seeing replies in the chat, like, yeah, Okay, so we're gonna be starting our program on July 17. We already have a few like onboarded, so we will only take in serious applicants. So even with all the tools and resources and access to our pro mangaka mentors, we need you to also put in the work. Like, we can help you, but only if you will help yourselves and show up and do the work. Yeah. So this is it, the moment of truth. So for those watching who want to apply, we have the link pinned in our description. If it's not in description, we're gonna be updating that shortly. Yeah. And I guess this is also a great opportunity to take in any questions that you have about the program. um, okay, I'm seeing a lot of excitement in the chat. Okay, so yeah, Kobe. Oh, hi, Kobe. Thank you for watching. Kobe is also one of our students in the program. I've been here the entire time. Okay, Brian says I should be able to join in during the October sessions. Yeah. So Baltakaba says I'm 13. Like that's okay, we will, we still have our videos here on YouTube with all our tips and tutorials. Yeah. And John Badmus, Mr. Gassa says, I've waited 2 years for this. Thank you for being one of our supporters. And when the time comes, we're ready to welcome you. Yeah. KD Master 64 says, I'm passionate. I'm excited to see you guys. Okay, we have the application form, the link to the application form here. Yeah. And also shout out to Miss Trisha, our director. Yeah. So you'll get this chance to speak with our director as well. Yeah, if you qualify. Yeah. Okay, so is the program paid for monthly or yes, this is a paid program. You will be discussing this during your call with one of our team members when you apply. Oh yeah, and a great reminder: this is a free consultation call. So um, if you can, like, if you have like any detailed questions about the payment, I think this is the best opportunity to apply because you will have that answered here. Yeah. All right. Okay, so we're gonna leave that link there, and I guess as a one final challenge for you guys, what will you be tomorrow if you start today? So like, what's gonna happen now, right? You know, yeah. What's gonna happen now? Yeah, for you guys. Okay, move of the Gorgon. I asked and didn't get an answer. Okay, what was your Okay, it might have been buried in the chat. Like, okay. Like maybe you can post your question again. I think it might have been buried in the chat with all the excitement. Yeah. Okay, Garrett says I'm gonna finish my homework. Yeah, and we're looking forward to seeing it. Yeah. Awesome, awesome. Okay. Yeah, okay, for Mova the Gorgon, I think we couldn't find your question, so I think it's, feel free to like drop your question here, so maybe we can answer them. Okay, Brian Gross says, I'm just gonna save up money so I can join. In the meantime, I'm gonna work on my current manga project. That's good. Yeah. Ah, the program cost. Yes. So for the program cost, that's something that's gonna be discussed when you book the consultation call with Miss Trisha. Yeah. Tom Aldabas, you still have homework. Yeah, like we have homework in the program. That's how we're gonna be measuring your improvements. Hmm. Yeah, like this is why we're like saying, we only accept those who have the drive and the commitment to put in the work. Yeah. You'll be surprised to find that a lot of our students actually enjoy a lot of the homework, even though it can be quite challenging at times. Yeah. All right. So okay, so I think we can still have like one more minute to entertain any follow-up questions before we call it a night. Okay, Jason Park asked, when it comes to subjects for manga, is it necessary to study on that said subject even if it's something you've never studied before? Like, I mean, if it's something that you need to work on, really. Like you want to know, you want to learn. Uh
I would, I would say it depends on the subject, but
mm,
the more research you do, the better. So, say
mm,
like if your manga is a historical fiction type of thing that takes place in during the Revolutionary War, then
mm,
it would most definitely help with the accuracy and the realness of the setting to like research what was going on during those times and get the customs and things down.
mm. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Just like what Courtney said. Yeah. Okay, so Jennifer asked, what's Courtney's Instagram account again? So Courtney's Instagram, okay, let me just quickly flash it on screen here so that everyone can see. Hang on. Like, there we go. Yeah, okay, so yeah, for those who want to follow Courtney on Instagram, her handle is Color of Dreams 07. Color with the U. The way that the Europe British English.
Yes,
Europe
ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah, Godspeed Vault. Yeah. Okay, so again, thanks again, Courtney, for joining us tonight. And for everyone, thank you so much for showing up today to show your support for Courtney and for expressing your interest in our program. I can't wait to have you guys on board. We're going to be meeting weekly when you hop in. And I think, who knows, maybe one of you guys, a few of you guys from this live are going to show up when we start class in July 17. Okay? All right. So I think that is it. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have a great weekend and stay awesome, stay healthy, and keep the fire burning. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye.